Throne and Liberty is a beautiful MMORPG theme park experience, and that much is apparent as soon as you create your character and step right into the game. Wow, dude, this game looks just so good. This isn't even a cutscene, this is just straight up the game. Holy crap. This is really nice looking. The game is absolutely beautiful with amazing set pieces and visuals. But for every beautiful and nice thing that gets me immersed in this game, there is a design philosophy or a gameplay mechanic that just falls short. I've been longing for an MMORPG theme park experience like this for so long, so I really wanted to like this game. My name is Shikari Dill, and we're going to be breaking down Throne and Liberty from my experience in the open beta. So jumping right into the character creator, you'll notice there's quite a lot of customization. This is easily one of the best character creators I've seen in an MMORPG to date. Immediately after creating your character, you are dumped into this long tutorial section which has amazingly beautiful set pieces to look at and sort of sets up the visuals you can expect to see for the future. I mean, they are really hammering home the visual style in this game. All I want to do is just set a toggle for a walk mode so I can RP walk my way through this beautiful set piece, but the UI is just so terrible in this game. I don't know why Eastern games just have bad UIs. You then get to pick your weapons, which will determine your quote-unquote class. There really isn't a class system. It's basically you choose two weapons that you want to swap between for their abilities, much like what Elder Scrolls Online and New World does. Now, this is just my personal opinion, but I prefer when MMOs give you full-on classes rather than just choosing different weapon styles. I think classes offer a more thematic and fuller experience, but that's a whole other thing. But what I will say is this is where the first problems I had with the game started to show through. Now, the game offers two different mode types. You have the traditional tab targeting mode, and you have the quote-unquote action combat mode, which is really just a glorified tab targeting mode. And I've seen a lot of MMORPGs go in this direction to somewhat modernize the combat, but honestly, in this game, the action mode feels pretty terrible. The camera is just not good, especially when you are fighting against bigger enemies, and that is very apparent when you fight the first boss you run into in the tutorial zone. I mean, this is pretty cool for like a starting tutorial boss fight. I can't see my character though. Come on, I can't. Jeez. What? The camera is just so weird. What the heck? Now, something that I also found very apparent was like the character movement feels kind of rigid. There's something about the animation that just kind of feels off when you're not in the wolf form. Yeah, it's just kind of weird looking. I don't know what else to describe it with, but the movement just feels a bit weird. This game really does feel like it has the makings of a high quality ARPG more so than an MMO. I mean, look how far you can pull the camera out, and I actually even made it look like a traditional ARPG game. And I think this game would probably have been better suited for that style, because the combat feels like it was overhauled last minute. It really does feel a bit clunky. I don't know how else to explain it, but this game feels like it should have been an ARPG over an MMO, but that's just my opinion. Now, there's an element to this game that is kind of cool, but a bit jarring to me personally. You can go into wolf form when you're trying to sprint. When you're jumping off a building and you want to glide down, you can turn into an eagle. Or when you go into the ocean, you can swim in this cute little sea otter form, which I absolutely love that form. Adorable. He has a little hat on. What do you not like about this otter? Come on. That being said, I'm not even sure this is explained in the lore, as maybe I skipped it. Is there a reason why we can transform into animals just like randomly? And that all feels fine to transform, but it's a bit jarring when you run into the city and you just see like 5 players as wolves running around. Just a bit odd, but just a minor complaint. Again, this game's biggest strength is its immersion, and you could really see this in the main story quest when it goes straight from the cutscene into the actual gameplay. What I really loved about this game are the transitions. You know, usually in an MMORPG, you'll walk into a dungeon and there's a loading screen. Not in this game. When you teleport from location to location on the map, it does a really cool and smooth animation, like seamless transition. It's absolutely the coolest thing ever. Alright, that's that quest done. We're gonna go turn it in town real quick. Whoa. Whoa, that was like zero loading screen. That was sick. And I'm here. Yo, that's sick. Or when you're walking into an instance, like a dungeon or a solo instance, it does a little bit of an animation and loads really quickly in the background, but you don't see that loading screen. It's just so immersive and such a cool concept. And I've just found myself walking around and just standing and looking at some of these locations and these set pieces. It is really beautiful to look at. Except one thing. There is one thing that grinds my gears about the direction of this game and the art style. And you know what that is? It's this thing. It's this thing right here. Why is this guy following me around? What are you? And why does it look so out of place? What the heck is this thing? It's like a stuffed doll. Are you in the right video game, pal? This does not look like you should be in this video game. I'm just gonna be honest. It's just extremely bizarre. It's so out of place in this world. It's like you have this beautiful fantasy setting, and then you get introduced to this character mascot, which speaks total gibberish, and I have no idea what it is, but it looks like a stuffed animal following you around, or like a stuffed doll. It's just completely out of place in this world. I would have much preferred if they had made this mascot character like a tiny fairy or something, maybe something that fits into the world more, but maybe that's just a minor complaint, and maybe that's just me, but it sort of takes me out of the world just a little bit. And it really shows that the development team went all in on the immersion on this game, and it's what I like best about it. I mean, when it rains, you see raindrops hit your screen, and the sounds are really good. The soundtrack is amazing and epic. Just listen to this opening soundtrack on the main menu. I even noticed that NPCs have a day and night cycle. Like when it gets dark out, I walked into a city and found a bunch of sheep with a shepherd leading it to bed. I mean, it was just the best thing ever, right? And I noticed that NPCs were actually going places. They had things to do. Like that level of immersion, I don't think has ever been seen in an MMORPG in quite a long time. So if you really talk about what this game brings to the MMO market, it brings a lot in terms of its immersion and its graphics. And there's actually voice acting in this game that can range from anywhere from pretty good to really bad. But I really do like that they tried with the voice acting. It really does add to that immersion as well. Now add all of those elements with the future promise of being able to group up with hundreds of players to take on world bosses or do guild versus guild PvP. I was thinking this game would be the one, right? The MMORPG experience I've been looking for all along. Overall, I was having a pretty good time with this game until I ran into the one system that I absolutely despise in this game, and that is the quote-unquote honing system, aka the upgrading your gear system. This is something that Korean and Eastern MMOs use all the time, especially apparent in Lost Ark. It's where you have this system where you have to get these materials to upgrade your gear, and it starts off pretty easy at first, but as you keep upgrading your gear, it becomes harder and harder until you have to grind a lot of materials or swipe your credit card to make it easier for you to successfully upgrade your gear. The Eastern vision of how you upgrade your gear and how you progress the character is just not the fun version of upgrading and gearing your character for me personally. Why do we have to use RNG to do this? Well, it's again to sell you some stuff that makes it easier and for your RNG to be better, and it's just scummy. I don't like it. And ultimately, I think that drives me away from this game as a hardcore player, but I can honestly see myself playing this game very casually just to level and experience the quests and the picturesque views and all the beautiful elements this game has to offer. So all of those elements said, plus the combat feeling a little bit janky for me, I would give this game a 6 out of 10. I am going to be playing it on launch because it's honestly something to do, and we are really down bad when it comes to MMORPGs right now. Let's just be honest, guys, okay? Let me know what you guys think. Have you played the open beta? What do you think the end game is going to be like? Do you think it's going to be good, tolerable, or do you think it's going to be very pay to win? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you all in the next video.